Well, hey guys, what is up? What's going on out there this afternoon? Yep, Brent Abel, WebTennis.com, back here with another episode of Tennis Mindset Training, Tennis Mental Toughness. Kind of interchangeable. I'll kind of point to the same skill we need to develop, which is besides, we're working on stroke technique. For me, I'm actually working on eliminating stroke technique, trying to pare away the unneeded. We're working on shot choice, right? Where do we want the ball to land over there, and where do we want to move to next on the court? Kind of a tactical focus based on what our opponent's strength is, maybe what their weakness is, or something else. And it could be more of a physical thing that we're trying to do, right? Fitness-wise, are we trying to make this opponent move from one spot in the court to another spot in the court over and over and over again, something they don't like? Probably less about going side to side and a whole lot more about coming up and back, which is typically, especially the age group you're in, a lot of players don't like that. What else? The mental stuff, right? So, hey, Mark, nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out again. And so today what I'm going to talk about is winning or losing close matches is mostly a result of self-talk habits. And I know for me that I used to really get into some not so smart self-talk habits against an opponent who maybe we have the same rating, or maybe I've played against this guy several times and I know what they're capable of. We've always played close matches. Maybe I've won some, maybe they've won some, or maybe I've won them all, but they've all been really close, and maybe I've lost them all and they've all been really close. But how we talk to ourselves and the messaging that we give ourselves, I really think now is more important than, I'm not going to say it's more important than tactical focus, because we just can't sort of look at an incoming ball and not really have a good shot choice based on our tactical focus. What do we want to do against this opponent? But the messaging that we give ourselves is really important. Before we get into that, let me just a couple of quick reminders every morning. What I'm doing is I'm going live with a new episode of What's the Right Shot, Shot Choice, and Court Positioning. Where's the next best place in the court you want to move to that would enhance your shot choice? And then every afternoon around this time, I'm not saying it's live every time, because sometimes I've got to do a pre-recorded based on my schedule. This past week was a couple of pre-records because of the tournament, the Wilson World Tennis Classic that is just wrapping up here in the desert. But so look, I think against opponents where the match is going to be close, or it's an unknown opponent and the match is now close. Look, I think we can get into some lousy self-messaging, self-talk before the match. I used to do this. I used to tell myself, God dang it, I don't want to lose to this guy. We've already talked about that before. And so, there's just a lot of messaging that we give ourselves, like, God dang it, I hope today I played this guy a few times. Not that I don't want to lose this guy, that's fine, but I don't want to lose 0-0. I don't want to do this, don't want to do that. A lot of don'ts. And I think the big problem with that is it's just really negative, non-positive thinking. I mean, look, since we have free will, and we do, to think any way we want and to message ourselves any way we want, why wouldn't we go totally on the positive side, and that's it? And the total positive side for me is that, hey, today's my day. You know what? Today's my day. Victory is meant for me today. I can't tell you if I'm going to win or lose, but why wouldn't I tell myself that? Why wouldn't you tell yourself that, rather than I hope I don't lose? Hope that whatever. And the hope strategy usually not so great. So how does this tie into habits? Well, for me, it used to be a habit that it would be some negative thinking or some negative messaging. And once I changed that, and the habit building took, I don't know, months. It's just not like you can go flip the light switch on and just say to yourself, well, today I'm just gonna talk, positive myself. If you do that, it's just not going to feel authentic. It's not going to feel real. You're just going to feel like, you know what, I'm just a poser today. Because usually against this guy, or usually against this team, I've got some pre-match negative thinking. I've got some in-match negative thinking. And so what I like to do is just build the habit and just keep going with it on a day in and day out basis. And what I do is I've written some stuff down and I just read it. I read it a couple times a day. And it's just super positive thinking. It's not I'm going to win because I can't control I'm going to win. It's not like I'm going to beat and I, put in fill in the blank of that player because I don't like to compare myself against someone. It's just it's out of our control in terms of how the day's going to go. But what is in our control is the messaging that we give ourselves. So I'm not talking about those matches where you're probably going to win 10 out of 10 times. And yet at the same time, I don't want to get sloppy, right? I don't want to get in the match and just kind of be distracted and looking around. Or I don't want to start the match by going, "Oh, I'm going to beat this guy like I do every time, like a drum." Don't want to be thinking that way. I want to give every opponent the respect that they deserve, and I want to not get sloppy with my thinking. So for me, yeah, I get into my 4 parts between points routine against anybody. I don't care who it is. And if I'm going to beat this guy 10 out of 10 times, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be making sure that the habit of the self-talk, the messaging I'm giving myself is the same no matter who the opponent is over there. It's a habit that I want to build, right? It's the same thing against a close opponent, a close match. I want to make sure that I've built the habit of between points routine, or I've built the habit of what I'm going to tell myself before the match. So I think that self-talk, messaging, positive or negative, we can build either really great habits or we can build lousy habits. For a long time, I built some lousy habits. And I would say that sometimes I got away with it. Sometimes I squeaked out a win where the self-talk was not great, but it's certainly not something I want to depend on. And I'd certainly for last year, my last year's results in 2023, when I built these habits, played some tough guys that I came out with a win that I'm not saying that I would have won anyway, but I'm just saying I think that we give ourselves the best chance if we build the correct self-talk messaging habits. How tough is that to do? I mean, the message itself is not tough. What's tough to do is the discipline to build the habit of doing it a couple, 2 or 3 times a day. I mean, we're talking about maybe 60 to 90 seconds, carving out 60 to 90 seconds and just kind of reading something, or if you've already got something in mind, just repeating it and just doing it over and over and over again. So where your subconscious really starts to believe, well, this is who I am. And you start to trust it. You start to believe it rather than going out, oh gosh, you know what? Against this guy today, I really need to flip that switch and do some positive self-talk messaging. At least for me, it doesn't work that way. I've got to build the habit. That to me is if you're going to use it from time to time, it's not a habit. So look, I'm going to keep this message short today. Hope this has been helpful. Get to work on not only the between points routine, which you can go over to webtennis.com. You can pick up that free 20-minute video. It's a private video. It is free. But if you're not practicing that on a daily basis, on and off the court, I think you're leaving money on the table, especially against really, or I should say in those matches where it's really close. And close matches can be, you're playing someone who you normally were going to beat 10 out of 10 times, but today's the day where they're just loosey-goosey. They're playing great. You're not, for whatever reason, having a great day, but you got to get through those matches. And the only way for me to get through those matches is to really just stick discipline to that between point system. It just keeps me away from results thinking. It keeps me away from that other voice going, what are you doing? How can you lose to this guy? You've been beating this guy every time. What are you doing? Those thoughts those are just negative thoughts for me anyway, that make it even tougher. So, and close matches, are you playing someone who maybe you've never beaten before? And if you've got the between point system going, the one thought you're not going to have if you've really habituated that between point system, oh my God, here I am, I'm serving for the set. Oh my God, here I am, I'm serving for the match. You just don't have those thoughts, right? You just don't get in your way because you're thinking, God, I've never beaten this guy before. What am I doing out here? How many times do we do that? We play someone we've never played, we've never beaten before, maybe played a little close, but never gotten over the finish line. How many times do we get to the finish line, close to it, we can see it, and we just kind of talk our way out of it? So start habituating the good stuff. And again, it's 60 to 90 seconds a day off the court. Between point stuff is, get the video. It's free, webtennis.com. It's private, but free. And go through it. It's a 20-minute video, and then just write it down. Write down, I describe what the 4 parts are, but you need to kind of customize it for yourself, and just start habituating the good self-talk messaging. Guys, hope this has been helpful today. Any questions, leave them down below in the comments area, or if you want to keep it private, feel free to shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. And look, as always, it's time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else. Have a great day today, guys. See you again next time.